Just a little bit. MVP winds up in the jungle, though. QvoFred, fantastic stuff. Oh, excuse me, Trixtank in the support role. My mistake, my mistake, my mistake.
Trying to rob him right now.
You know, supports so rarely get the superlative that it kind of slipped my mind. So many apologies to Mr. Trixtank, who goes ahead and gets the MVP. Picks and bans for game number 2 on the way. Picks and bans, SK Gaming.
In your defense, Qvo and Trix are practically the same person at this point.
Have you seen Qvo since he cut his hair?
They've both been on the grind.
I mean, Qvo cut his hair, and now I can't tell them apart. That's a lie, but they do look very similar. European blonde boys. Good-looking European blonde boys. Right? Right?
Yeah, I'll give it to them.
I'm just making sure we're not roasting them. I'm letting everybody know we're not roasting your favorite.
I mean, you're the one out here calling them cute. I don't think that they had any concerns about you.
I didn't say cute. Did I?
Possibly.
All right, well, QvoFred over there in the jungle. He's going to have to figure out things in his own world, but SK Gaming looking directly at him and his mid laner. No Cirquette and no the Morrigan, as they take advantage of their bans, they being SK in the black and white, of course. First pick won't be a Chernobog or an Athena. It will be a Baron Samedi in the hands of Ducky. I actually came up here and I said, you know, I was kind of lukewarm on Ducky playing the Baron. Then he gets the first blood, so I eat my hat. You were in the green room, though. We were talking. You liked him on the Baron.
I think I've always been a fan of Ducky, but I might be a little bit biased in that, and I'm open to admitting it. I mean, I did used to be with Ducky a long time ago.
You call Ducky cute?
What? No, he was the solo laner for Dignitas back when I was still with that team. And that was some time ago, but I got a chance to like really watch Ducky like develop over time, and like seeing where he started at when he originally joined that Dignitas roster up until like where he is now, and with SK, I think that Ducky has done, he's kind of like on a roller coaster right now. He's had his periods of being really consistent, really standout performances, and then he also goes into those lulls. I think the big thing for Ducky is that it kind of just depends on where his team is actually standing. I think that for SK, these guys have had a bit of a revival period with the fall split, kind of recognizing this is our shot to either get a straight ticket to Worlds or at least look to prove ourselves in the round robin stage, and I don't think that they're looking to waste it.
Not at all. First half of the draft is complete. I swear, folks, we'll get better by game 3. I hope there's game 3. I would love to see SK repeat their performance from game 1 and continue on. Anyway, the draft is halfway done, and Dignitas have amassed themselves a Sobek, an Amaterasu, and a Freya, so 2 frontline characters, and then, of course, Freya, who blows up the world. Baron Samedi, mid lane Agni, and then Terra, who I find much more applicable in the Guardian position, so I think we know where HalfDevil is going to be playing. Bans coming out as well, 2 helmet guys. Dignitas ban out Mercury and the Arlong Shen, whereas SK Gaming pay attention to the Jungle Robin and the Odin, which leaves QvoFred with the Naja. I understand the Odin ban. I would have liked, you know what? QvoFred with Robin, QvoFred with Naja.
QvoFred with anything.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like going up to your attacker and being like, which knife would you stab?
You know what it reminds me of is if you were ever a kid when you got in trouble and your parents would make you go pick which belt that you had to like go with, and I think that's kind of the case here when you're trying to decide what to let Trixtank or what to let Qvo play. See, I did the same thing as you now.
See, not just
that's
me.
That's why.
Not just me. Rama will be the selection for Mr. Arkkyl. No surprise there. We talked about how he's played almost exclusively Ram and on her to extremely high performance. So very good stuff there from Dignitas. Zyrhoes on the Freya in the mid lane, one of his favorite characters. A nice draft from Team Dignitas, which has basically all top tier characters across the way. SK Gaming playing with the Terra and the Jing should be interesting. I'm really, really curious if SK can kind of eke this one out.
I think that Dignitas' composition is a little bit more flexible in terms of when and where they want to initiate, because they can choose to throw the Amaterasu forward or they can have Sobek going in instead. I am curious to see if this is going to be another Blink Sobek. I think we've been seeing a lot of Blink Sobek from solo lane especially, so if that is the pick for variety, then I think that it'd be a pretty interesting choice, because Jing, Susano, Agni, I think all 3 of those gods have pretty top tier escapes against the draft that Dignitas is opting for here. But the concern is that if they don't get out, the burst could be very overwhelming from Dignitas.
Yeah, ton of burst and set up there for the black and yellow. Will it be enough to win the game is the question I ask you guys out there in Mixer chat. Can SK repeat their Game 1 performance, the good side, and find a victory and bring us to Game 3? I'll ask directly. Finch, Tolly, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a difficult task for them here up against Dignitas, but with these drafts that are showing me here today, I think Dignitas have a really good chance, man. They got Naja, Freya all on the same side, another Trixtank on the Amaterasu performance. They're in a good spot.
Not to say that their Game 1 composition from Dignitas didn't have too many playmaking capabilities, but this one has a different flavor of doing it. The Naja from QvoFred screams more aggression.
It absolutely does, and that's what I want to see here from QvoFred, to put his foot on the gas and not let up here in this game. Variety also on Sobek, a very a pick he very much enjoys to play over there in the solo lane, so he'll likely get a lot of mileage out of it as Team Dignitas pushed right up to the tower line, and SK just going to go right for their buff.
Arkkyl going to get the wave, but this purple buff is a 50-50 coin toss that does go to HalfDevil, but this red buff is going to be more than likely in favor of Dignitas, or they could just straight up go for HalfDevil.
And Lawbster gets soloed there in the middle lane. No one was there. Zyrhoes finds the shot and puts him down on the Freya in mid.
What a shot! When's the last time we've seen anyone get soloed in the mid lane?
It's been a long time,
It's been a
huh?
hot minute.
Yeah, that was impressive. Zyrhoes putting a hurt
You gotta
on
respect
the Lawbster.
You gotta respect the Freya damage.
Yeah, I don't think you clearly just wasn't expecting it to be like that. And when we went over there, it was just them. I didn't see anyone else nearby. I
Nope.
think that was all Zyrhoes, man.
That was all Zyrhoes, then and there, just getting the damage off. Both of these mid-mages rushing the Book of Thoth. No surprise there with some of the recent buff changes, and now the race is going all Zyrhoes' way.
It absolutely is. He'll head right back to lane level 3 already. Lawbster should be much safer now that he has that dash. A lot less likely for that to happen. But now QvoFred is here as well to try and put on a little bit of pressure of his own onto this Naja. And this is what I was talking about, right? They're all on these picks that can make big plays by themselves. You know, Naja for QvoFred, Zyrhoes on the Freya, Variety on the Sobek. They have so many tools at their disposal here this game.
Ducky might get soloed too if he's not careful. His sustain is not that high compared to when he gets later. HalfDevil still sitting at level 1, and that red buff invaders gave Arkkyl now level 3.
He's chunking a little bit when he hit Funballer, pushed him back, but remember, Funball is on the Jing way, so we'll make it back to lane relatively easily if he needs to do that. I don't think he has any more potions available to him. He has full Ninja Tab-Eye, though, and is indeed going to make that trip back.
Without any potions, though, simply because he wanted to start the item immediately, just waiting for a little bit more gold in the fountain, and then heading towards the purple buff. Almost stolen away by Dignitas, but definitely guarantee themselves that red buff. It's all because the Ram pressure. The Ram and the Amaterasu clears so fast.
They're there for it again, but this time Funballer will go right to it and grab it. Trixtank going to put some damage into HalfDevil while he can, give Arkkyl a little bit of farm there to himself, and then come over and join them, but a little bit too late. Purple buff already secured.
Did get picked up by Funballer, but honestly, it doesn't matter at this early in the game if it's going to Funballer, your Hunter, or HalfDevil, your support. The penetration aura still going to be applied either which way. And knowing Trixtank and how aggressive he wants to be, he'll be in range of that debuff.
Ducky might be in a little bit of trouble. The sash lands. The heal and the movement speed will come through. He even lands the root on the QvoFred. That's a big deal. And with that root landed, they are going to give up on the chase, but it looks like they did steal his buff.
No pluck for Variety for quite some time, so instead wanting to really min-max the value of the farming potential, even getting himself his own blue buff now. This is where the side lanes are going to start to tip the scales, and knowing that Zyrhoes already solo Lawbster, it doesn't seem that SK Gaming are winning in any area of the map in Game 2.
And I think Baron's probably amongst the solo laners that it can be most impactful to grab the blue buff from. He did go the Mage's Blessing, so he has some mana regen. It's not the end of the world by any means, but Barons really do like to spam their abilities, and having that blue buff really does sort of augment that.
Definitely, especially when you're getting more health every time you use the mana. Same thing goes for Variety. You use the Sickening Strike, you're going to get the health back, but the difference is that Variety gets his own mana back, even without blue buff, with Lurking in the Waters, providing a huge boost of mana.
We often see it used just for that mana return over there in the solo lane. So yeah, wouldn't be surprised if that ends up happening over there. But as you said, just like that, Ducky able to get the return trade. He went right into the pin boots one more time and has Mage's Blessing for a little bit of extra bonus damage to work in his favor. But QvoFred's got to be careful. Pulled back in by Faeles. But looks like no ultimate going to come out. QvoFred should be fine.
Good ring bounces on the little Harpies to also spread it to Faeles, slowing him down, boosting the own movement speed from QvoFred, and reducing the physical protection in case they wanted to re-engage QvoFred with his ultimate, but not going to look for any plays quite yet, even using his beads in the last encounter.
That's right. He'll got to be a little bit more careful now when he moves forward. He could be susceptible to Lawbster stun, Faeles pull as well. We already saw even HalfDevil could potentially lock him down if he tries to go over to the duo lane side of things. We'll see where it is that he goes, because for so far, QvoFred's been relatively quiet. Both these junglers have. Not really looking for any ganks yet.
Not quite yet in the side lane, because there's just been a lot of potential in terms of invades, right? The blue buff got invaded on the right side not so long ago. Red buff stripped away. Solo kill from Zyrhoes. This is a Dignitas team that we're expecting to have these individual 1v1 victories to start transitioning successfully in the mid game.
Another successful blue buff invade on the right-hand side as well, Tully, and this is where it could start to hurt. Ducky now down below half HP on the mana, 70 seconds still before he'll have his teleport back up for a free chance to back. He's going to try and tough it out, but can Variety force his hand?
Well, Variety going to get level 7 now. Wants to kind of zone Ducky if he can, but those minions a little bit too low for comfort. Also, allowing the minions to fall, benefiting off of the Guardian's Blessing is the way Variety's playing it. But now that it's evolved completely, you don't have to be patient any longer.
Yeah, at this point, Ducky should be A-okay. He's getting a little bit of regen back on that Mage's Blessing, too. So, yeah, I think he should be all right. He has the Baron's Brew working for him. Yeah, Ducky should be in without too much trouble as he head back over to the mid lane where Lawbster has that Book of Thoth completed, as does Zyrhoes on this Freya, but also has the Boots 1, so a little bit faster. Remember, Zyrhoes got that solo kill on the Lawbster earlier on, so he's had a slight lead there ever since.
Allows him to get a little bit more stacks now in that department if they really want to look for team fights. Now wouldn't be a bad time with Freya just 2 levels ahead. Lawbster not really benefiting too much after dying that early in the game.
Trixtank does get rooted. Faeles puts out some damage, but again, not really an all-in commit. As the sash lands onto Ducky, Windfire wheels right there. He's going to come right back down to the waiting Sobek. Lurking in the waters confirms the second kill for Dig. Variety takes down Ducky.
Better safe than sorry. Variety knew that there was maybe one more basic attack that was needed. You didn't have to commit Lurking in the water, but at least you're getting mana back at the same time. You're going to slow down Ducky, and if for whatever reason Ducky can get off his heal, then that Lurking in the water would certainly seal the fate from Ducky. And with that clean pick, more of an advantage for Variety to just absorb all these minions, and HalfDevil is going to share the wave now, even separating the gap between these two solo laners.
But it's a good thing they're here. This means they can defend the blue buff this time and not have it stripped away again. Team Dignitas, I think, got 2 in a row the last time they came through, so this time they defended for him. Unless the teleport mage doesn't hurt Ducky too bad, but you definitely don't want to be giving kills over to your direct opponent.
Well, last game it was Ducky that found a kill onto Variety in a 1v2 gank, surviving against QvoFred's Circuit play. And as a result, now this time Variety finds a kill. He's going to be the one with that 500 gold bounty on top of himself just to be able to win some of these races. Voidstone being rushed by Ducky. Variety has yet to back. Will do so now. Teleport available.
A bit of a grouping here from SK Gaming, but mid Harpies still aren't up. Now they're there, but Flame Wave was a little bit too early for them. They'll rain fire over the top. Looks like they will try and strip those away, but now Qvo has a chance to loop around. Sash off the mark. Banish doesn't land either, and HalfDevil has made the disengage.
A little bit of a missed opportunity, but maybe for good reason, because Ducky was right around the corner. Variety wasn't quite there yet.
Faeles came in to join with the crew as well, and in the end, Team Dignitas able to go right back towards farming. But, I mean, to be fair, this is how Dignitas played it last game, right? They played it patiently. They took what was there for them. They have done some gank attempts this time, one onto Ducky, and also Zyrhoes just finding the 1v1 in middle lane. So when it's there before them, they'll take it. But Dignitas aren't trying to force anything beyond that.
No, definitely not, especially when Arkkyl is playing the Rama. That's super late game, trying to stack up those Devo gloves. HalfDevil in a lot of trouble.
That's what I'm talking about, man. If you're going to gift it, Dignitas will definitely open it up. Lawbster now in trouble, too. QvoFred puts him down. 4 total kills for Dig. Overall, they'll grab the Oracles, maybe even Gold Fury.
They should be going for the Gold Fury, looking at the mini-map. No one in real contention to steal this. Ducky on the right, farming his own speed buff as Faeles. Team Dignitas with a 9-minute Gold Fury in game number 2.
able to turn things around pretty majorly. If what you can see, that fight went pretty handily in Dig's favor, not just in terms of kills, but all the gold experience is theirs. That's a big swing up in their favor. And now SK Gaming have got to hold on a little bit. It's about 4,000 overall in Dig's favor. This is way different from game one, just in terms of how much they've been able to strip away.
Oh, absolutely. It was SK Gaming that had about a 1,500 gold lead between now until 20 more minutes down the road.
Yes.
But Dignitas not slowing down after the first blood. They're a team that really thrive off of a mindset that they stick with. If they want to be defensive, they're going to be defensive that whole game. If they want to be aggressive, you better know they're coming at you, guns blazing, and unfortunately, Lawbster was that very first victim in this game.
And to be honest, I really think it's SK this game who's kind of cracked a little bit, because Dignitas are still playing calm and patient. They're taking what's being given to them, and there's been a couple missteps. HalfDevil too far forward, where Lawbster's not respecting the Freya damage in mid. You absolutely can't gift them over to Dig.
Losing a 53-minute game could definitely play a toll on you, and HalfDevil could be in a lot of trouble yet again.
He could certainly get caught out. QvoFred is going to walk up slowly and get that auto attack. So that'll put HalfDevil down, make the 5th kill overall. 2-0-2 now for the Naja, and the lead extends out even further.
Just gave him the spinning fist real quick, and now transitioning over to the Pyromancer. Gold Fury not due to respawn for another 3.5 minutes. You don't even need your Hunter, as Arkkyl is going to be able to get that tier 1 tower probably.
But SK do want to be here for the defense this time. Life for the party. Onto the Sobek, who's happy to absorb that cooldown. QvoFred lands the sash. Sprint to keep everybody close, but Rainfire is good to force Dignitas to spread apart.
Uh-oh, Lawbster doesn't have Aegis.
Wow.
He's only level 9. Zyrhoes up in the sky, right onto Faeles. Does answer onto Variety, but a 2-for-1 going to Dignitas. Oh, and left side tower goes down.
Yeah, because Arkyl's not going to be rotating, not to this. Funballer's here, but what can he do? He just came to try and help Tully. That's all he wanted. Takes a bunch of damage right to the face. HalfDevil at least forces back Zyrhoes, and Trixtank sticks around, but Dignitas cleanly lead.
But look where Arkkyl is heading to in the mid lane. Could potentially catch some members slipping if SK aren't prepared. I love this ward. Arkkyl going to slow out HalfDevil twice as it stacks per shot. Notices that the red buff has respawned, but will not go for it.
But this is Dignitas yet again playing a calm, patient game. Arkkyl does get stunned and rooted, but he very calmly accepts. It goes right back to purple. QvoFred's on his way to help if need be, but I think HalfDevil has stalled enough.
A little bit. Still getting the little minions. Delays some of the farming potential for Funballer, but this is what Arkkyl wants to do, is look for some of these poke exchanges, but not if Faeles. It's coming before QvoFred.
Variety is going to get pulled in if we go all the way over to solo lane, but Ducky at this point up against the Sobek doesn't have much kill potential. But, I mean, look at all the damage Sobek was able to put in. He's the one that found that kill in the last fight with the lurking in the waters, chasing down kills. It's so much.
Oh, Zyrhoes in a lot of trouble. Without Valkyrie's discretion, despite using the Aegis, not enough, but Trixtank at least answers in kind.
Man, we might have had 10 kills all game last time. I mean, we're already moving at a faster clip here in game one as things are starting to break open a little bit in this mid-game here, Tully. Zyrhoes gets caught out of position, Faeles, dies for it in trade. That makes it a 1-for-1. But SK got to be okay with trading for now.
Oh, but Lawbster can't afford to die here. He's level 10, 3 levels behind Zyrhoes.
Lurking in the water should almost certainly spell the end, but he doesn't keep up the chase. He stays underneath HalfDevil instead. Rainfire doesn't quite catch up to Trixtank, and Variety still trading out with 3.
I think Variety was body blocked by some of the walls from HalfDevil. Rooted in place, Variety taking half of his health. Ring bounce just for good measure. Lawbster not going to get deterred from the back quite yet. Gold Fury due to respawn in 1 minute, but despite finding the pick onto Zyrhoes, HalfDevil wasn't really allowed to farm. Still only sitting at 50 stacks of his Book of Thoth. It was a great flank from Variety, still applying a little bit of pressure on this Agni.
And back to the lanes we go in this one. Shield of Regrowth, third item coming out for QvoFred, which has kind of become core, it feels like a little bit on Naja, right? To augment that extra movement speed for him and make him a little bit tankier. They want to be here, though, for the red buff spawn.
I mean, everyone was picking this item up in the Season 4 when it had 20% cooldown reduction, but now that that's no longer the case, people realize, oh wait, this item is still pretty darn good. Let me get myself that extra boosted movement speed with Talaria boots just to look for that flank. The way QvoFred was patient in the last game with the Circuit doesn't surprise me that he's going for so much mobility on this Naja in Game 2.
He wants to try and line up anywhere he can as the red buff invade will prove fruitful. Gold Fury will be back up in a few seconds, but Dignitas aren't positioning like they want to be there for it the second it comes back into this plane with the rest of us. They're going to hold back for a little while longer, but the repeated buff invades, right? The repeated stripping of farm has certainly paid dividends.
I don't think that there's going to be any slowing down now, though.
Never mind,
Dignitas has so much of an experience lead that they can force these objectives. SK Gaming going to really have to stretch Dignitas thin to find some picks, but Dignitas just going to play off of one another.
Yeah, this ain't how you do it. That's another Gold Fury going over the side of Dignitas, and really no way in for SK there. They had a Sentry Ward, I believe, down as well to Dignitas. They had vision control, knew no one was on their way, and Arkkyl just kept burning it.
Things are getting a little dicey for SK. Dig
Absolutely.
are up 7,000 gold in 15 minutes, and it's going to get only tougher because the late game potential is there for Dignitas. Freya, Rama, Amaterasu, variety with the control on the Sobek. QvoFred, he doesn't necessarily need too many damage items. Once he hits level 20, that Windfire Wheels on any squishy target eliminates them.
I'm right there with you. This Dignitas roster is not going to get any less scary. That is not on the horizon for SK Gaming. All they can do is try and get equally scary and try and match them as Trixtank commits dazzling offensive to Lawbster, who has no sprint. Beads have now been expended. Shell looks like it comes out to try and keep him alive, but Sash is there from QvoFred. Arkkyl finds the shots, and that's the kill.
The stun setting up the barrage from a distance. Arkkyl with a second kill of the game. Dignitas is still not slowing down. Hey, have a red buff for your trouble. Hey, there's also a tier 1 mid tower with 10% health.
This really does feel like, though, you know, like Dignitas kind of not baited, but like conditioned SK into like expecting that continued slow pace from game 1, and then like all of a sudden it was like the fastball, right? They've been doing like these weird, you know, like off pitches all this time, and then suddenly just right down the middle, faster than you can handle, and now this Pyromancer and even the Fire Giant have Dig's name all over it.
Throwing like what, 106 miles per hour?
Oh yeah, that's pretty fast. This is pretty good. Dignitas are putting the fastball out there for him. Arkkyl not even on the Fire Giant. They're just DPS and Ducky. Variety happy to absorb the stun. Nowhere for the Lone Baron to go. Zyrhoes finds that kill. Now HalfDevil dashes in, thinks better of it, and leaves.
I was about to say, like, this is not the place for you to be, HalfDevil. 1 versus 5. You're a lonely level 11 Terra. Only 2.5 items deep. Tier 1 tower in the soul lane falls. Dignitas continuing the pressure. They gave the okie doke play in the Fire Giant. They weren't really interested in that. They just continuously are looking for a little bit of picks for these smaller objectives. This is the discipline that Dignitas is applying in the battleground of the gods.
They always play this way, don't they? They play about as patient as anyone out there. I think perhaps the most of any team. And I was trying to, and I highlighted a little bit last game. It's when that slips a little bit, that patience, that Dignitas kind of seem weak. And I kind of go back to the thought where they all kind of rush through the through space and time portal right up against a rival and end up falling on that one. It's just these small things where they played perfectly for the most of the game, and then it just gets a little bit away.
And SK Gaming have a tall mountain to start hiking up. Almost 10,000 gold in the lead is the black and yellow Chaos side. Yet again, SK Gaming going for the first pick after the loss, and they stuck to their guns. Ducky had a pretty good game 1 on the Baron, but unfortunately for him, in game number 2, couldn't really provide the same results.
Now they put that Sobek over there. QvoFred came over and ganked, I think, what, once or twice. They repeatedly stole away his blue buff. That kind of wrote the story.
That's what did it. I think it was the repeated blue buffs that really shut Ducky down to not be able to get much out of it. That assisted gank from QvoFred with the Windfire Wheels under the tier 1 tower. You just need a little bit of pressure, but without... Last time it was the Xing Chen that couldn't secure the kill, but this time the Sobek certainly could.
They do have a small group in here, or rather 4 members around this tier 2 if they want to push that down. Funballer is recognizing now that he's got to go to duo because Arkkyl has that pushed up, and so Arkkyl will give up on it, knowing that he successfully got Funballer to rotate and come join his squad.
5-man grouping in the mid lane momentarily is Arkkyl right around the corner. Dignitas spreading SK a little thin, even going to the right-hand side. Not interested in the left or the mid.
Going to try and force SK to respond and set up their defense on the fly. Looks like they do have the tower down to about half HP. Up onto the coffin is Ducky, and no one really for him to pull in.
Zyrhoes is isolating Lawbster. Valkyrie's discretion is going to confirm Lawbster. Yet again, another solo kill goes to Zyrhoes.
Able to track down this Agni 05 and 2. This has been another area where there have just been troubles for SK. He fell behind early, and Dignitas continued to punish him throughout the rest of the game.
Calculated play from Dignitas, giving up the Baron to get the Freya. Zyrhoes is having a great time in this game.
How's my calculator? They don't really sound like that. That was a bad calculator.
You want to try again?
I don't. You know, I'm embarrassed about it. Totally, let's just forget it. You know, let's move on. Dignitas, thinking about maybe trying to push down this tier 2. They've left it behind. Right now, they're kind of just farming up the map. It looks like they don't feel comfortable forcing down Fire Giant. They will be here for the Gold Fury. Zyrhoes is already nearby. That should certainly be theirs. And then they'll have the opportunity to move around. But if you're SK, I mean, where can you afford to try and fight them? Because you can't keep letting Dig have whatever they want.
I mean, at this point, it's getting very scary. 11,000 gold at 20 minutes is too much to really leave where your tier 1 towers used to stand. The experience also following the same path as the gold. SK Gaming need a serious miracle. And the way Dignitas have been playing is very methodical and meticulous. They don't want to give anything back in return. And that's the way you win these competitive games, is what you don't leave behind after making a play. Cleaning up and plugging in any sort of open holes.
Well, QvoFred just backed, but the rest of the team will be at least nearby. The Fire Giants are going to grab their own blue buff. Stacking up for that one, too. Making sure everybody gets some of that blue buff farm, and indeed they will. And now they'll head back to base. At this point, SK have kind of given up on pushing out into the map, and I think given up is the wrong word. They've recognized that that's no longer an option for them. They can't go out there. That's Dignitas' map.
It's all a split push potential now. Left-hand side, it's going to be Faeles trying to get a tier 1 tower. Does have a lot of archers to work with, so 500 gold will go to SK.
Yeah, he'll be able to burn this one down. Nearby is Zyrhoes if he does want to have any say on it, but much more interested in this red buff. Pyromancer should be back up before too long, so that'll be something that's grabbed by the rest of Dig. But no, they are ready to start up the Fire Giant finally. They're going to have Arkkyl and QvoFred handle this.
QvoFred has a lot of health with that build. Between the Mad Guy's Cloak and just the Shield of Regrowth is going to provide a lot of help. But look at the left-hand side. They're trying to catch out Zyrhoes.
They definitely have a chance. He goes up into the air with the Valkyrie's Discretion and returns a ton back on a Funballer who's got to retreat. So he defends the tier 2. And now his team can grab the tier 2 in solo in response.
They definitely did that very quickly. And honestly, look at Trixtank. He's trying to cancel the backs, but he couldn't do it in time. Stun is going to thwart Dignitas for the moment and actually go back to the mid lane.
That would have been a huge play. If Trixtank could have stopped 2 members from backing there,
oh, absolutely,
then they could have kept going and possibly even taken that Phoenix, or at least brought it low. Instead, they'll fall back. They have a ton more time on this Fire Giant. Tier 2 and left should be theirs without really any complications. It just matters if they want this mid one as Variety dashes away.
Variety's just playing with his food. He is staring them down. First, he was staring down Funballer long enough that Funballer doesn't even want anything to do with this level 20 Sobek. But then, also staring down the likes of HalfDevil.
Yeah, rightfully so from Funballer. He, he don't want anything to do with that. Not right now with this Sobek at level 20. They actually did not burst down that tier 2 over and left, by the way. They gave up on that one. Trixtank and Zyrhoes are back now, but HalfDevil's here to at least try and clear the minions, while the rest of the team does push down mid. And looks like from their positioning, SK are going to give up on both of these.
Not wanting to overextend. Fire Giant side goes to Dignitas, so a lot of sustain, a lot of extra structure damage goes their way, but still not confident enough to go for the Phoenixes with so much gold in hand.
You know, 9,000, or not even that, it was closer to 20,000, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 19,000.
20,000 up, that ain't gonna do it totally. You know, got to go back and spend that last bit, finish off a few more items, and then come back.
You have to, honestly. Like 6 items deep. You got to roll deep.
Rolling in the
pockets are stacked.
They really are. If they were Fafnir, you could stick around.
They're
enjoy that golden hand. But here, Dignitas went back and spend. They're not quite fully 6-slotted yet, so they want to do it. There's still, some blessings to get rid of too. Guardians and Hunters still there for the duo lane, and a little bit more to go for QvoFred to finish his 2.
I mean, it's what, 4.5 to 5 items versus about 3 to 3.5 for SK Gaming. That's where the disparity is really getting serious.
It's a ton.
Dignitas are not slowing down.
No, they definitely still have time. They got another minute 39 on this Fire Giant, so they're going to push down a little bit mid. QvoFred will handle that. The most of the team, though, they're focused on this duo side tower, the furthest away from the Fire Giant, thus making it quite valuable. Ducky has beads expended quite quickly as Variety finds the pluck.
Variety did not want to get rooted after committing to the pluck, so having to use that ultimate defensively could hurt him, but forcing out the beads out of Ducky allows a blink pluck now from Variety.
And this means that at half health, HalfDevil's been controlled and just bursted. He's at half health already. Now that frees up space for Dignitas to get a few more pot shots in at the Phoenix, bring it down to about a quarter HP, but a nice heal there from Ducky.
Zero's going to have to sustain off of that Fire Giant buff for another minute longer, maybe get some lifesteal from some of these shots. Polynomicon so important to hit onto that Phoenix that's sitting at less than 50% health. QvoFred going to commit to this middle Phoenix?
Yeah, he's trying to see just what free poke he can force there to get SK's hand. Variety can't find the pluck on left-hand side. Now it's like a Bento comes out as well, but look how low HalfDevil is. He has got to retreat and can't even. Zyrhoes finds Ducky on the back end.
Oh, look at the shots from a distance. Arkkyl lands it onto HalfDevil. 2 clean picks onto SK Gaming. Variety
double
misses the pluck as Arkkyl gets another one in the books. Left side Phoenix goes down. Dignitas.
Yeah.
For the end.
They are. Who needs Trixtank here at this point? 4 members strong. Dignitas are going to put this set to bed. SK Gaming, they may look like they had a chance there in game 1, but Dignitas closed the book on that one. The set goes the way of Team Dig.
In less than half the time of game number 1 as well. I think that was a huge improvement from Dignitas. All it took, honestly, was a little bit of buff pressure onto the mage solo lane, whether your name is Baron or otherwise.
Sure.
Nice solo kill from Zyrhoes. He also had another one a couple minutes later afterwards. And then just that start as well from the Amaterasu Ram combination. You get the wave, you look for the red buff invade, all 3 check marks cleared, and that was a quick game.
I really did kind of spell it, didn't it? It started with, like you said, the solo kill and the Zyrhoes, then the repeated invades over in solo, stripping away those blue buffs. Really no real response coming out from SK. Dignitas put the grips on him that time and closed this game out quickly. But who stood out for you the most in that one? Who was your MVP? It's tough to say. Maybe Variety, he played very well on that one. Maybe QvoFred on that, Naja. Zyrhoes for the first blood, maybe?
Gotta give it to Zyrhoes.
Yeah.
Playing the Freya, no fear. My man's playing Freya before the recent buff.
That's true, yeah. He was playing Freya all the time, just happy. It felt like a Zyrhoes buff, didn't it?
He's been preparing. He's like next level. He knew some of these changes would happen.
Right. He's like, I'm going to make sure that I'm ready. When that comes around, I want to make sure that I'm here for it. But that means now Dignitas continue to really be unchecked, it feels like, over there in Europe, man. Up there near the very top. I think, what, 5-0 at this point, essentially undefeated.
The end of the week 3 for Dignitas, going undefeated set-wise.
That means they'll finish the split, or this half of the split, undefeated. We'll see if anyone can get them on their second time around there when we come back through our matches again. But let's get it back to the desk. They'll go through it in a little more detail.
Thanks a lot, guys. Tom and Taco here one more time to wrap this one up for you. And, well, it was 3-14.
It's this one just I am not too surprised by the game 2 ending. I think that SK honestly threw everything they had into game 1, and it was a little bit of a heartbreaking defeat for the team. Another big issue that SK encountered in game 2 was that they just picked weak laning phases all across the board outside of Lawbster in the mid lane, but having the Susano in the jungle up against the Naja, usually you can expect the Naja to have the pressure, just straight up. That's just how it is. Naja has a little bit better clear in the early game than what Faeles was able to attain on that Susano, and having the Terra, Jing, Baron side lanes, it just didn't work as well second time around because of how much early game Dignitas actually drafted for and then chose to abuse.
Yeah, for SK Gaming, this was a very interesting one because I've been repeatedly slamming home that when Faeles does well, the rest of SK Gaming does well. And this was a game that Faeles actually performed. He did his job, but unfortunately his team wasn't able to capitalize. And so I think that is a very interesting talking point if you're rooting for the German squad. But Team Dignitas here did win, and their MVP certainly put on a show. Zyrhoes in the middle lane was the Freya that absolutely made it count. It all started with the early solo kill.
Lawbster just was not expecting that damage out of Zyrhoes, and I almost can't blame him. Every single auto, it felt like, connected outside of the last one, or the last couple, but it's still, the precision that Zyrhoes had on this Freya is really important, because it wasn't even just with the range damage either. It was also with the Valkyrie in the ultimate, and it's just impressive when Zyrhoes is able to do this kind of stuff time and time again.
He was great on the old Freya. New Freya is a vastly different character. He's still great on the Freya. It just is what it is.
Yeah, It was a really standout moment, I think, for Zyrhoes as well, when they were sieging the Fire Giant, and underneath his own tier 2 tower, 3 members from SK try to take him down, and they're still unable to find that pick onto him. He was level 19 at the time, I believe, as well. Most of them were 17 or lower, so they just kind of struggled. As soon as Dignitas got as much map pressure as they did, they just made sure to strong arm SK out of the jungle entirely, which then funneled into them taking all the objectives, and it's kind of, well, the results, we saw what happened in game 2.
That's a Dignitas story. Have a tough time against some of the lower end teams, but then kind of wake up a little bit there in game number 2 and take the set 2-0 above SK Gaming. Coming up next on the docket is going to be Mouse and Obey. Hey, what are you doing for that game?
I think I might be casting that.
Yeah, you want to watch together?
You want to go ahead and watch that?
That works.
Yeah,
Me and
sounds
Taco, we're going to go switch rooms. We'll catch you guys in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. Mouse, Obey, on the way.